Thank you for that video. The next thing that we're going to move into is going to be some offerings from some Srila Prabhupada disciples, friends of Mahatma Das. Before we do that, I think we should probably offer up our Guru Pranam mantras to Mahatma Das, followed by the Srila Prabhupada mantra. So if you know those, please join in. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pritsaya Bhutale Gurave Chiti Chestabhyam Mahatma Prabhave Sada Prabhu Bhava Rupaya Kirtana Varadayane Namastapa Prakashaya Bhaktanam Tat Virayacha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pretsaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyabari Paschata Deshatarane. Okay, the first offering that we will have, we're going to be joined virtually by Hridayananda Maharaj. He's one of the most senior and respected spiritual leaders in ISKCON, was instrumental in completing the early translation of the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially going through the 10th canto, served on the GBC, and considered to be, kind of on the cutting edge of the Hare Krishna movement. Recently, becoming one of the first senior leaders to endorse, women playing a larger role in things in ISKCON. So if we're ready with that. If you're ready, can you please share some thoughts, reflections, and offerings to Mahatma Das?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hey, Mahatma Ji. Happy birthday. Am I supposed to speak now? Okay. Well, I'm very proud of the fact that such a great Vaishnava as Mahatma came from my neighborhood, Beverlywood, California, Hammy High. And I've said this so many times, but it's a real pleasure for me. I feel it's, and actually 2 ISKCON leaders came from my high school. One of them passed away many, many years ago, Sudama. Of course, Mahatma, you remember Sudama, Brent Selden. So Mahatma, there was an old folk song called Where Have All the Flowers Gone? And now it's like, where have all the Prabhupada disciples gone? So it's interesting that Prabhupada used to say things like, we need to boil the milk, and we need a moon, not just stars. And we have the mass, but we need the class. And the funny thing is, when Prabhupada used to say those things, no one in ISKCON thought he was talking about them. Every devotee thought Prabhupada was talking about other people. But now history is revelatory. History reveals things. So Mahatma Prabhu has shown himself to be a moon and not just a star. And he is one of the disciples of Prabhupada that actually, as Prabhupada said about himself, I took my guru's mission very seriously. And so as time goes by, we can see more and more clearly that a relatively small number of Prabhupada's disciples took the mission so seriously that they now here we are, almost 50 years after Prabhupada's disappearance. The 50th anniversary of Prabhupada's disappearance will come in 3 years. Half a century since Prabhupada left this world. So that's enough time. It's plenty of time to be taken as a real test. If someone almost 50 years after Prabhupada's disappearance, if a Prabhupada disciple is still more and more active in his service and clearly being empowered by Krishna, and not only has not deviated from Prabhupada's teachings, but has actually dramatically increased his service or her service, then that person is a very special soul. And that's the case of Mahatma Prabhu. So in a sense, he's a devotee whose record speaks for itself. And I had the pleasure of meeting some of his disciples in South America, in Argentina. And so I would just like to congratulate Mahatma Prabhu on this day and, happy birthday. Glad I get to come to your birthday party. And
it wouldn't be complete without you.
and just to thank you for, as Prabhupada, I remember he was giving one talk about how he met his guru and everything that happened. And he kept saying, who knew that this would happen? Who knew that? And so I remember very clearly when I was a student at Berkeley in 1969, and I arranged to get a credit course, which was kind of unusual, but I sort of finagled it, to get a credit course at UC Berkeley. And Mahatma Prabhu came to that course, and it was a typical Hare Krishna college course in the sense that the first meeting you get like 50 people, the second meeting you get 20 people, the third meeting you get maybe like 8 people, but Mahatma came to that course, and I remember preaching to him, and I've said this so many times, I'm repeating myself from previous events, but I remember one point that he really found striking, a philosophical point, was that this world is just a perverted reflection of a higher world, sort of the Neoplatonic aspect of our philosophy. And so who knew? I mean, I remember very well, we were just kids, we were like, I was 21 years old, he was probably 20. And there we were. I remember just talking to Mahatma, we had a natural empathy and we got along very well because we were from the same community. And so we couldn't imagine anything. I mean, if you think back to 1969, of course, speaking to Mahatma now, because many of you cannot think back to 69 for obvious reasons. But I mean, we couldn't imagine the future. We couldn't imagine what the material world would become. We couldn't imagine what we would become. I mean, we definitely believed that Prabhupada is going to save us. We're going to advance in Krishna consciousness. This is going to get better and better. But exactly Krishna's plan for us. And we couldn't imagine that the time would come, let's say in 2024, when there would be so few of us left who were still very active, still really fully active in Prabhupada service. I mean, we couldn't imagine any of it. And yet here we are now. And in the same way, I could say we can't imagine the bliss we're going to experience when we actually re-enter Krishna Loka. And so, but anyway, I could, go on and on, but I just want to congratulate Mahatma Prabhu again and thank him for being one of the most impressive, one of the most important disciples of Prabhupada, who not only remained faithful to Prabhupada, but actually had the devotion and the ability to do what Prabhupada dreamed of, and that is to become an empowered leader and to bring so many other souls to Prabhupada's lotus feet. So, yeah, you're a real mitzvah for the movement. So, congratulations to Mahatma, and I'll leave you now to all your whatever you guys are going to do now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Haribol.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Very appreciated, very beautiful. Up next, we have a offering from Mahatma Prabhu. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and a longtime friend of Guru Maharaj, back to the early days in Los Angeles. Many of you know Javi Prabhu is a musician, first appeared on television at age 5, and then, won a Latin Grammy for the best folk or traditional album. So very, very accomplished musician, Srila Prabhupada disciple, and he's going to be sharing birthday wishes for Mahatma Das as well.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes, now we can see you.
Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripasindu vyayavacha paritanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Oh, what a challenge to speak when the last speaker is Sri Dayananda Das Goswami. But I'll do my best. In fact, I woke up very early this morning and I wrote this, that I'd like to share this with your audience, my dear Mahatma Prabhu. I know Mahatma Prabhu since 1973, when I got initiated by Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles. As soon as I met him, I knew for certain that we were going to be friends for the rest of our lives. At that time in 1973, Mahatma took me to sit at the UCLA grounds to chant Hare Krishna for many, many hours. We went several times, and not only to that place, but to other places also. Honestly, I only have beautiful words to describe Mahatma's character. He doesn't have even a slight symptom of envy in his personality, and he's always kind. He's a living example of a successful grihasta, and he's a brilliant spiritual career. I can only say that I feel very lucky to have such a wonderful friend as Mahatma Prabhu. And in this day of your Vyasa-Puja, my dear friend, I beg you to bless us all with your presence for many, many more years. All my love. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
A mitzvah. What a word.
Haribol. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, the next event that we'll be having the Shpanjali, Radhika Priti.
So I'll read the mantras and I'll try to read phrases so everybody can follow along. And yes, I'll wait a little bit until everybody has the sheets. And yes, please everybody stand up. Yeah, this is good. Thank you. All right, please come closer. All right, let's get started. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Gaurave Chiti Cheshtabhyam Mahatma Prabhave Sada Tat Prabhu Bhava Rupaya Kirtana Lada Daine Nama Sattva Prakashaya Tanam Tatparaya Cha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve
Saraswati Deve
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi
Pashyata Desatarine
Gacchari Satarine
Om Jnanatimiranjasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshur Almilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Gun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine
Pracharine
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi
Nirvishesha Sunyavadi
Pashyata Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Preme Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna Chaitanya
Namne Gaura Tushe Namah
Krishna Namaha
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Pate
Viratite
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Gopika Kanta
Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Kanchana Gaurangi
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vimeshwari
Vrishabhanusute Devi
Sitadevi
Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now we're going to offer the flowers 3 times, so please save them for 3 times that we're going to say the mantra. So Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Gaurave Chiti Cheshabhyam Mahatma Prabhave Sada Tat Prabhu Bhavarupaya Kirtana Ladadaine Namasattva Prakashaya Bhaktanam Tatparaya Cha Pushpanjali.
Krishna
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale
Bhutale
Gaurave Chiti Cheshtabhyam Mahatma Prabhave Sada Tat Prabhu Bhavarupaya Kirtana Ladadaine Namasattva Prakashaya Bhaktanam Tatparaya Cha Pushpanjali. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Gaurave Chitti Cheshtabhyam Mahatma Prabhave Sada Tat Prabhu Bhavarupaya Kirtana Ladadaine Namasattva Prakashaya Bhaktanam Tatparaya Cha Pushpanjali.
You know, the flower represents the soul. And when you offer the flower, that means you're surrendering. We should have told you before. Now it's too late.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
But I'm also surrendering to all of you. It's reciprocal.
Okay, next we're going to have the Guru Ashtakam.
I guess I don't use the cartel. Someone else can use the cartel.
Mm.
You can stand. We're going to make the Guru Stakam for Maharaj. So you can stand and sing along with Sierra. And then if somebody wants to play the cartot on the Sierra singing, it will be very nice.
Please sing with me. Of course. Need help, all the help I can get. samsara Ranaya karunya ganat ganat pam. Karunya ganat ganat pam. Pratasya kalyana gurana vasya vande guru shri chananana vindam gurana vasya vande guru shri chananana vindam Mahaprabhu ki nirtana nitya gita Vanditra Manyan Manasora Sena
Mahaprabhu ki Nitya Gita Gitramaya
Manasora Sena Romancha Kampa Strunaranga Bajo Vande Guru Shri Chanana Vinda Shri Vigrahara Nana Nityanana Shringaratan Mandira Marjanado
Vigrahara Nityanam
Yukasha Bhaktam Shanayunja Topi Vande Guru Shri Chananana Vindam Chaturvikha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Savana Triptem Hari Bhakta Sangan
Chaturveda Shri Bhagavat Prasado Varanatриtan Hari Bhakti Sangha
Ritvena Triptem Bhajadasa Deva Vande Guru Shri Chanana Vindam
Vande Guru Shri Charanarani
Shri Radhika Mari Para Mandura Lila Gunarupa Namna
Radhika Madhurya Leela
Namna Praktikshana Svadanalolupasya Vande Guru Shri Chananana Vindam
Nalolupasya Vande Guru Charanarani
Nikunjayuno Radikali Sidya Yayali Bir Yuktira Pekshaniya
Kunjayona Adhikari Shivami Yaya Leviya Tirapekshaniya
Rataki Daksha Dadivala Vande Guru Shri Chananana Vindam.
Ati Bala Bhasya
Sakshadahit Vena Samasa Sastre Uktashataba Yate Vasadi.
Akar Hari Krishna Master Shastrai Mukasatava Devasadi
Kintu Praboya Priya Evatasya Vande Guru Shri Chanana Vindam. Yasya Prasada Bhagava Prasado Yasya Prasada Najagi Kutopi.
Prasada Bhagavata Yasya Prasada Nagasi Prachopi
Dayanstu Vams Tasya Yasya Sri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Chanana Vindam.
Ashri Sangam
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Radhishatari
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Bhutana
Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda,
Nityananda,
Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasari Gaur Vatsalya.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, 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 Shiva Prabhupada.
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki, Gurudev ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, we actually have another special guest who's going to be joining us virtually. Samapriya Devidasi. She is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. She spent her life chanting Hare Krishna, distributing books, preaching, worshiping the deities. She currently resides in Alachua, and among devotees, she's known as being the poet laureate of ISKCON. So she's joining us and would like to share an offering for Mahatma Das. You ready?
Hare Krishna. Machakapatarujacha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanivyo Vaishnavavyo Namo Namaha. Happy birthday, dear Mahatma Ji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And this is certainly a mitzvah. Maybe I should tell everyone that what that means. Mitzvah.
Yeah, tell
Mitzvah means a blessing. And certainly Mahatma is a blessing. And why is Mahatma a blessing? Because he is Prabhupada Nuga, a follower of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is our blessing. And his sons who are doing this service of initiating devotees are spreading the movement all over the world. This is a real blessing for the whole parampara to see that it's continuing. And I'm sure Prabhupada would be very pleased to see this is happening. So, and it makes me very happy to see my god brothers are taking up this service so seriously, each in their own unique way. And Mahatma Ji, you have a very unique way. We are all unique in ourselves, and all of your disciples also should continue to be their own unique selves in their service to Krishna and Prabhupada. So Mahatma and I know each other from a long time ago, from Los Angeles airport, where he distributed Prabhupada's books, and I also distributed Srila Prabhupada's books. And that was a very, what can I say? It took everything from us to go out there on the front lines and distribute this knowledge to the souls. It was a different time. We had to establish this movement for Prabhupada. So there were risks that we had to take that I don't know of those kinds of risks. Of course, there are war zones where devotees are taking this knowledge to the front lines also. But that was a difficult time, but it made us very devoted to Lord Chaitanya and to each other, and to encourage each other to take up this service of spreading Prabhupada's movement. So there's three things. There's three things that I would say that we all have to take to heart. And if I could be so bold as to speak to your disciples, my nieces and nephews, who I had an opportunity when we were in Govardhan to take part a little bit in the retreat there. And it was so delightful, so wonderful to see. I really felt like a part of the family, that Krishna consciousness is growing so nicely. And your mood, Mahatma Ji, of accepting people and encouraging them from where they are to execute devotional service was just so enlivening. And it was very beautiful. And I really appreciate that you did that. So the three things that we have to take shelter of: chanting the holy name. Chanting the holy name, and with a guru like Mahatma, I know you can't avoid that. Chanting the holy name. This will reveal everything to you.
Somehow or other, inconceivably, they figured out how to avoid it. I don't understand.
Hare Krishna. Anyway, the way to not avoid it is to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's books. That is a real mitzvah that we have. We have Srila Prabhupada's direct words, how to execute this devotional service, how to purify our hearts, how to become happy and make others happy. Prabhupada's books, the center of one's life, Prabhupada's books. And of course, to assist your guru in his preaching mission. So that will be pleasing to Srila Prabhupada and pleasing to the whole disciplic succession. And you will get the mercy, you will get the mitzvah, you will get the real blessings of all the devotees of your guru and of Srila Prabhupada. Just one more little thing. When in the early days when we would go to Vrindavan to take a pilgrimage and do some shopping for the deities and shopping for the devotees. And so I remember very clearly walking into one shop. I think it was Dinesh's shop. That was the owner's name. So I used to dress Rukmini and Dwarkadish in Los Angeles. And he had a little picture of when I had dressed the deities. And also the music was playing the Govinda prayers by Mahatma. So it is world known, it is world famous, and I love you, and keep up this service to Prabhupada, and thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And you are all a mitzvah. Hare Krishna.
I think my disciples may want to convert to Judaism. We have
I was going to speak in Yiddish, but I
brothers and sisters.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Bol Maha.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you. Okay, next we have a musical offering for Mahatma Das. It's a original song composition. I got to hear it last night or 2 nights ago. It's very beautiful and heartfelt. So I'm sure you all appreciate and enjoy it.
That might actually be really cozy.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah, may I get cozy, be an atom at your lotus feet. So I wrote this song. I actually recorded this song with Ananda Murari, so I have a surprise for you. We could
Oh,
play it like you were playing through the thing, but that might take too much time. I think there is 10 minutes though for this musical offering. I was like, it's not that long of a song. Okay. So I wrote songs. I've always dreamt of writing songs. My mom told me when I was young, like, are you singing for your ego or for your soul? And I was like, huh, that's really perplexing. And so I wrote songs for like 6 or 5 years, and I was always praying. I didn't know it was to Krishna at the time. I was just like, why do I write songs? Why am I not recording them? What am I going to do with them? Are people even going to like them? Anyways, now here I am. And my first song I've ever recorded. It's not on Spotify yet. I don't know if it will be. Who knows? It's definitely for him. I recorded for you. So this feels very fitting. And thankfully, I got to sing the Guru to Come by Gornitai's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy and your own mercy. So, and the devotee's mercy. So I'll stop talking and I'll sing my song. It's taken me long enough. Okay. It's called What Can I Say? I'm sure you'll hear that as we go. Hopefully you can hear my ukulele. If you can't, oh well, I suppose it's all right. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You came into my life, clearing up my dark inside. My illusioned eyes are changing with the tides, and all my reasons why can no longer abide. What can I say? I need your mercy every day, Guru day. What can I say? I need your mercy every day, Guru day. Just when I wanted to quit, a connection I couldn't predict. Here you are, you've always been clearing away karmatic sin. Here you are, you've always been. What can I say? I need your mercy every day, Guru Day. What can I say? I need your mercy every day, Guru Day. A small particle, a love so radical, teaching me about self-love and self-care. You give, you so freely share. A small particle, a love so radical, teaching me about self-love and self-care. You give, you so freely share. What can I say? Your mercy every day, Guru Day. What can I say? Need your mercy every day, Guru Day. Guru Day. Guru Day. Guru Day.
Anyway.
What can I say? So that's recorded. And I was foolish enough to think that this wasn't good enough. And then over the few days that I've been able to be here, I was realizing like, okay, maybe my voice is enough. Like maybe this is okay. So thankfully, because of all of you, I feel supported to share. So thank you.
We should never wait to be perfect. We should just do it now as best we can.
Free advice.
And that's perfect. And this song teaches our Siddhanta that every day we need the mercy of Guru. It's a fact. So it was coming from her heart, but it is supported in Shastra. Yeah, it is Siddhantic.
Next thing that we're going to be doing is an offering of a book to Mahatma Das.
That big? No.
Yeah, well, it's like
Not that big. I don't have that many disciples. Yet. Now we have to figure out how to open it. Pulls out, I would think. It's because I didn't have breakfast. I can't. No, I don't want to break it. No, because it's tied up. Yes, open it this way. Open it. Okay. I think. Oh, all right. Wow. This, I think it's actually magnetic. Wow. You want to see it? Wow. Magnetic box. Nice. It's hard to see in them. I guess we don't have so much light. And if you made an offering and sent a picture, then your picture's there. Yeah. So you see, we have your picture and the offering. And it looks like yeah, you get at least one page. 1, 2, or 3, depending how long you're offering it. Yeah. Nice. So it's by country, alphabetically. And then I believe alphabetically within the country. So Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. There are some disciples who would like to actually share the offering, they made in the book in person here today. I was thinking a little bit about, why we share these offerings, out loud and publicly, even though we make them kind of, in private to our guru. And I thought of a number of reasons that I think, all bring us benefit from doing so. First off, when we share something like that publicly from our heart, we make ourselves vulnerable. And then that vulnerability can lead to humility, and humility is so necessary, on this path of bhakti, especially before our Guru Maharaj. Also, when we hear our soul siblings share, we can get reminded of, the depth of our own connection we have with our spiritual master, our own relationship, our own shared activities, advice that we were given, moments that happened. And if we hear people share things that maybe we haven't experienced, it can inspire us to go deeper and deeper into that relationship and explore it and try to really, plumb the depths of the love that we all feel. So some folks are going to be sharing their offerings now. Radhapriya Devi Dasi will be going first. And then just so people know when they're coming up next, Debja will be going after that.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Every day when I wake up early in the morning, I think about how to serve you. You have given my life a new perspective. Before I met you, I used to serve only myself and my family without considering anything beyond my materialistic needs. I was enjoying a false sense of satisfaction, but my thirst was unending, always searching for something new that never provided me what truly I needed. When I met you in Ecuador, you offered me a powerful advice that was initially reluctant to accept. My ego was so high that I told myself, you didn't know me well enough to give me such an advice. However, after 3 months,
in true Radhapriya style.
However, after 3 months, your words still resonate with me. And I realized that you had a vision and I couldn't see it. On that day, I accepted you as my guru and you gradually took me under your wing. I waited for 3
You want
years.
to know the backstory? Tell you the backstory. The situation in Ecuador, and I've done this many times, the situation in the temple was not such that I felt that any person that I had any influence on should be in that sangha. So I kind of grabbed them and say, my basic line is, if you have any problems, meaning you will have problems, because I know the situation is not stable here, you can contact me. That's the backstory. I didn't want to let her flounder in that situation because I didn't think it was safe.
Yeah, that's completely true. It was a little bit complicated, the situation. But then I waited for 3 years for my initiation, a time that allowed me to truly appreciate the incredible gift of this transformation. And it was not merely a change of name, but a complete transformation of my life. Through your example, I have learned that the connection with the spiritual master is more vibrant and genuine when you serve him. You are constantly thinking on new and advanced ways to connect people with Srila Prabhupada. You support those who already have a connection with him. I have witnessed your genuine care for others and your relentless efforts to find solutions to their problems. I feel immensely fortunate that you have given me the blessing to help you in your endeavors. Every time that you leave Alashwa to travel, I always ask for your blessing and request.
You're getting a lot of blessings, because I leave a lot.
Yeah. I lost one. I will always ask for your blessings and request, but you never forget to pray for me. Your prayers are incredibly powerful and help me to overcome many challenging situations in my life, strengthening my sadhana and my spiritual journey. Thank you for trusting me in the way that you do, and for every word of advice that you have been given me. Please forgive me for any immature choice I have made, and I'm a slow learner, and I'm doing my best. Thank you always for being there for me. I pray to Krishna to may continue serve you every day. Your eternal and crazy disciple, Radha Priya Devi Dasi.
So in the next offering, can you sign it, your eternal and not crazy disciple? You have 1 year to not be crazy.
I can write, but then I don't know if I'm going to.
Oh, you have 1 year to practice, not being crazy.
Okay.
At least don't write you're forever crazy. Disciple.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Up next is Debija, and then Sierra will be following her.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. It's a pleasure to be here today on this special occasion to celebrate your appearance day, Guru Maharaj. You have always been there to guide us in our spiritual journey in Krishna consciousness. From your workshops on forgiveness, self-care, japa, marriage, and various others, Maharaj, you are guiding us to heal our inner self and connect with the holy name and appreciate the holy name. So this is something that I really appreciate. And you're helping us continue to do this in the long run rather than burn out by going full effort the first attempt. Thank you for that. I appreciate that you encourage us to take care of ourselves, because if we can't love ourselves and or treat ourselves well, how can we reciprocate the loving relationship with Shri Krishna and his devotees and other devotees as well? And one thing that I really admire about you, Maharaj, is that growing up, I never liked my birth name. And yet when I got to meet you in Dham, you told me the spiritual meaning of my birth name. And you got me to appreciate that. So that's something that I will never forget. And whenever anyone asks me, what does my name mean? I always give credit to Guru Maharaj, saying my spiritual master said, this is what my name means. So thank you for that. And Maharaj said my name means divine seed. So thank you
But
for
don't
that.
forget, you have to water it.
Yes, I do remember, Maharaj. You said I have to water it to grow further in spirituality. So I will keep this as one of your instructions to go further. It's a blessing to have your association, Maharaj, who you are helping spread the knowledge of Krishna consciousness to the current generation in a very practical and understandable manner. You are a very humble, merciful, patient, and knowledgeable individual. And you're very, very humble that you don't even like us saying that you're humble. Maharaj, you share your love for Shri Krishna through your lectures, workshops, retreats, books, and kirtans. You remind us that our main focus is to keep Shri Krishna and Srila Prabhupada as our top priority and to do everything to serve and please the Lord. Maharaj, you are someone that I have admired from afar, and I've been very fortunate to meet you this past winter in Govardhan and Mayapur. And I remember telling you that you did not come to Toronto last year, so I made sure I came to see you in person. And I hope that devotees in Toronto, we get the blessing of getting your direct association one day, if ever. Every moment spent in your association, Maharaj, and your disciples is relishable. I pray that Guru Maharaj, you have many more years to spread Krishna consciousness to all us fallen souls and inspire many of us to continue the spiritual path and go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, your eternally grateful servant, Devija.
Thank you. I just have to say something. I know a lot of you are praying that I have a long life, but could you add at the end of that prayer, healthy? Because long and not healthy is not desirable. Because that will be a curse, right? You're unwell and you live long. You can't do anything.
Sarah will be making an offering, followed by Maturnath Das.
Hi, Krishna, Mahatma Prabhu. It's nice to see you in person. My offering really was the music, but then I decided I guess I should come up here and say something else. So in class actually earlier, when Leela Nanda Prabhu, is her name right? Yes. When he mentioned that it takes gallons of blood to make a devotee, I've really like, why is this? Okay. I really have to, like, there's many people in this room actually that I could thank, including you, of course, and Prabhupada. I was reading his second volume of the Leela Amrita, and I couldn't get through it without crying like 6 times. So go figure. Talking and I'm crying. But thank you, all of you, Chakalpa. I'm so thankful that you told me last year. I was surprised that the guidance that you gave me was to love myself. And I mean, one of the 10 offenses is not to follow the orders of the spiritual master. So I'm doing my best. And I believe that's the only reason I was up here and able to actually have an offering of music for you. So thank you for encouraging all of us to love ourselves through the mood of Prabhupada and showing us how that applies. Actually, it's so helpful, like the most helpful thing. And I hope to serve you for a very long time for that beautiful gift that you've given yourself and many others. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Maturnath Das is going to be making his offering, and then Janaki Devidasi will be up next.
Why don't I just have a regular microphone? You don't have one? Oh, okay.
I realized this morning.
Some people think I'll never be good enough to be loved. But our philosophy is you'll never be bad enough that Krishna won't love you. That's the proper understanding. Sometimes the worse you are, the more he loves you, because you need more help. Anyway. Not that you should try to be worse, but anyway, sorry.
I thought my offering was on my phone. It's on my computer, which is not here. So I get to make a second offering.
Yeah. The spontaneous offerings are much better.
Yeah. I've known you for many years. We're friends, still are friends. I think I was pretty much hit rock bottom. It's like dark night of the soul when I called you a year and a half ago. And was going through a really heavy time, as you know. I actually reached out to a lot of other devotees, a lot of other senior devotees, and Mahatma Prabhu was the only one that came. And he took care of me like a father. And that message, I'm not good enough, I actually realize that's there in me. I'm processing that actually from childhood, and the way that you came into my life, it's reversing that conditioning, that anartha. So I'm really grateful for you. Grateful to get to serve you. It's a blessing.
You're good enough to cook for me.
Haribol. I really want to share so much appreciation for how beautiful your sangha is, our sangha, the sangha you've created, the family. Devotees are not regular mainstream devotees who don't consider stuff beyond what this. They are considering what's going on beyond the surface. They're because of this is what you're doing. And you're leading like a whole other movement in ISKCON where you're showing us that we need to dig deep. And I struggled for many years because I wasn't digging deep. And I have to say, I suffered in Krishna consciousness. I wasn't happy because I wasn't digging. I wasn't looking at the anarthas. And so much of the processes you're doing is this anartha nivritti work. And it's like, I realized I would never get any taste if I don't do this work. And oh my God, I'm so grateful that you're showing us this. You're doing it you are doing it yourself. You're an example, and you're teaching us how to do it.
That's one of the motives for me to do it is because I knew we were all going through the same thing. And I wanted to improve myself in the areas in which I knew the devotees were challenged, so that I could not just be an example, but I would have knowledge and insight so I could guide devotees. And I kind of, you could say, I put the Bhagavatam on the shelf for a while so I could study other things that I thought we were neglecting. It was an austerity, but I saw that the result was good, and it was conscious.
It's what I've been doing, hiding away for the last few months, is digging and looking at what's caused me so much pain, what's caused me so much separation from Krishna. I've been meditating today. Just Krishna says, one who thinks he's my devotee, he's not my devotee. One who thinks he's the devotee of my devotee, the servant of the servant. So I'm so grateful you're available. You made yourself so available to me, and I see you do that with so many of your disciples. It's really wonderful. And I'm inspired and committed to helping you with your health, and trying to extend your life with good health. And it's really inspiring, and yeah, I'm really
He's destroyed my life. I have no more enjoyment. I can't eat anything. I can't eat anything nice anymore. No sugar, no potatoes, no tomatoes, only mung dal. My life is over.
Right. Yes.
The only happiness I have is oatmeal in the morning. That's it.
And you had to cut back on the honey and the cinnamon, even in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I want to say, I really have experienced Krishna speaking through you to me. There's something that happened in Vrindavan where you said to me, and I got angry. I could see that I thought I knew better, and it didn't make sense to me at that time. And then I just, actually, I don't feel very comfortable saying this, but Krishna said, just listen. He came to me, actually Madhava, and said, just listen, wait.
Mm,
And what you said was absolutely true.
mm,
It was super far out.
mm,
So I see Krishna speaks through you because of your sincerity. And I need to, I get to, it's not I need to, I see I get to let my pride down with you and trust,
mm,
because
mm,
I see I have a hard time trusting.
mm,
I've had a lot of people in my life that have
mm.
not taken that trust, but have hurt that trust that I put in other people.
Yeah.
And I suffered a lot because of that, trying to trust the wrong people.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for all the work you do on yourself, your purity, that we can actually trust you, Representative Krishna.
I'm 108% conscious that the basis of the relationship between the guru and disciple is trust. And I'm always thinking and praying, and because sometimes we don't know, I could do something to what's the word? Betray trust unknowingly. And so I'm always praying to Krishna that I would never do that, because I understand that trust is everything. If that's broken, then it's like your spiritual life is destroyed. And we've seen that with other devotees when their gurus couldn't follow. So I'm like so conscious of that. It's like, if you ask me, what is my biggest fear? That would be my biggest fear, that I would betray the trust. At least knowingly, but even unknowingly it can happen. So I pray that I'll never betray your trust. That's my Vyasa-Puja offering to you today. And I've made this offering before, that I'm always conscious that I have to behave and speak in a way that builds trust. And that's what I try to do. And if I ever don't, then tell me, because I need to know before it hurts you. And sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Up next, we have a Janaki Devidasi, and then Lakshmi Radha Devidasi will be offering after that.
Hare
Maybe
Krishna.
I should just, when you come up here, I should just take your phone and let you make the offering. I have a story for you. We were at the Vyasa-Puja of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And, people had their offerings, and they're very proper offerings. And one devotee came up and just like nothing to read, and just spoke from her heart. And my wife turned to me and said, that is his favorite offering. So I'm not saying it's not from your heart when you read it, but this is kind of like a workshop, It's like, get the rug pulled out from under you. And like, don't you think it's better, Materna, that you didn't have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm able to open this up.
Yeah.
See what's there. It's helpful to see what's there as well.
Anyway, if you want to read, you can, but I might take your phone in the middle. Who knows?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. And I won't read from my phone, but I will just read one verse that
Okay.
reminds me of you.
Okay.
And it's from one of my favorite pastimes in Bhagavatam about Dhruva Maharaj.
Hmm.
And it's the time where Krishna, finally, after all of Dhruva's austerities, Krishna comes and says, okay, I see you, and now what do you want? And Dhruva has this moment of kind of panic, this awkward panic of, what do I do? What do I do? So I'll just read this verse that reminds me of you. And then no more phone.
That's so interesting. Krishna shows himself to you and you're like, what do I do? I don't know what to do.
Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. So this verse reminds me of you a lot for many different reasons. But one, first of all, just this world is such a crazy place. It is really so full of danger, and it's like a fire, like blazing, dangerous place. And so to experience my whole life basically without Krishna consciousness, without any kind of spiritual anchor, and then to come into Krishna consciousness, I can really say that you've just plucked me up like nothing. And it's so causeless. You've given me so much mercy that I never deserved. I never thought that I needed it, and I didn't even want it. And but the suffering pushed me, and because you were so kind. Whenever we first met, I was such a mess. I'm still kind of a mess, little better, trying to be better, but you gave
Do
me
you want
so
to marry her? He's transcendental. He doesn't care.
One thing that I hear over and over from all of our God siblings, all of your well-wishers, all of your aspiring disciples, is that what really resonates is that everything you give them is very practical. Krishna consciousness is not something high in the sky, something impossible, something that we can't reach. Even though we might be so fallen, and I might never, on my own be able to do anything of value, still, because of your mercy, you've been able to give it to us in a way that we can actually practice it and use it, and it works, and the process is purifying us, and it's so just unfathomable. Sorry. And I think too that not only do you give us something that's practical just from the head, but it's because of your good qualities. You have so many good qualities. You're so kind, you're so patient, you're so tolerant, you're so loving, and you make it fun and blissful, and you're really enjoying Krishna consciousness, even though you're doing so many austerities and you are always traveling, you're always giving everything that you have to others. But still, you're so happy, you're so joyful. And that's because you're actually situated at Krishna's lotus feet, at Prabhupada's lotus feet. And that's what I was thinking about this verse from Dhruva Maharaj, is that he's praying that, can I always be in that devotional service that's like a river, transcendentally situated. And that's you. Even though you do so many things and you have a family and you're going around the world and you're doing all these things, you appear like a normal human being, but you're not anything normal at all.
That's what my wife says all the time.
It's very clear that what you do is uncontaminated because it's done in this mood of loving service. And because of that, because of your good qualities and your devotion, it is kind of like Sierra's song, What Can I Say? Like, what can I do? How could I ever not do this? How could I not follow you or serve Srila Prabhupada? And that's really the power of love, is when you're moved, you're forced to move even against your own will. And so I hope that eternally I am forced even against my will to serve you. And I hope that I can, whatever I do, I can please you. And I'd like to say too that to say sweet words is one thing, but I also want to say that even though I might not be living in Florida and you're traveling, so we're not so close, just one, like I can't serve you personally all the time, but still in New York, I'm reminded of you constantly, and I'm always trying to serve you. And part of my service there is preaching to people and sharing Krishna consciousness with others and sharing japa, the holy name, with them. Everything that you've taught me, all of the guided meditations that you've done, the workshops that I've been, able to go serve you, but actually you're just like piling on mercy. And so I'm really trying to hold on to that and serve you in that way, to give that to others, what you've given me. So thank you very much, and please always keep me in your service. Hare Krishna. Gurudev ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
That is perfect, because I spent so many years practicing and understanding what helps people. And so if you can take that and mimic it, that's perfect, because it'll work. It's time tested. 54 years of research and development. So yes, take advantage. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Janaki. Up next, we have Lakshmi Radha Devidasi, and following her will be Radhika Priti Devidasi.
Okay,
Sorry.
permission granted.
Panchakalpa Maharaj, I am very happy and grateful for this moment, really. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are grateful for inspiring us, transforming us, and giving us guidance towards Prabhupada and the Supreme Lord, our eternal refuge. Thank you for bringing the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to all the ends of the world, teaching us to be humble, merciful, compassionate, and determined, great gift from Krishna that you give us. When I arrived in the USA, I was able to serve for their program at Krishna House, and it was the most beautiful, welcoming experience. We wish you well wherever you go. You are wonderful light on our path, your eternal service, and I would like to be repaid sometimes. Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. Muchas.
Yes,
Muchas gracias.
Hare
No
Krishna.
hablo español.
Next, we have Radhika Priti Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. When I was writing the Vyasa-Puja offering, I was having a really hard time because I couldn't think of what I could write to glorify you. And I was like, I can't, like, nothing can be enough, and then it's not adequate. So I kept procrastinating it. And I was like, but I really want to offer something. So I wrote something yesterday, and I felt like you would just accept the love with which it's offered, even though I cannot adequately glorify you. I won't read it because I think probably I'll get emotional, but just share a few things from it that I was thinking. One thing that I was really appreciating is I feel like many have said this already. It's like you're a father to me. Always cared for me like that. I remember you specifically told me one time, like with people your age, that rasa comes out because you have a daughter. And but it's not just any father. I was thinking that you're very non-judgmental, accepting, and compassionate. I remember we were having some conversation where I revealed something which my dad would have definitely scolded me for. I was like prepared. I was ready to be chastised by you. But you are so accepting, so non-judgmental, and so caring. And I just felt like this is a father who will always accept me, no matter what flaws I have. I wish I could do more service for you and be something, but I'm still working on your journal this year, and that's been really inspiring because it gives a personal touch, and I get to know so many things about you that maybe I wouldn't hear in a class. It's very inspiring, and I can see like what has brought you to Krishna consciousness, the beginning days, the prayers that you offer to Srila Prabhupada, your humble mood, how open you are and honest you are, revealing all your vulnerabilities. I know like sometimes I read books and I can get inspired, but for me, it's just like a perfect service because I get inspired by something very personal. So reading your story and reading your dedication to Prabhupada and like what you were doing, getting up early and the whole day was packed, barely getting any sleep, the type of food you're eating.
That's all in there?
It's all in there. Yeah, your schedule is in
I
there.
don't remember. This is, when did it start? It started in 1972?
I think there's some before that, a little bit too.
I used to write realizations. And I have a whole book of realizations sitting on my shelf. And some of the devotees were with me and they're like going through all my books. And they go, what's that book? He says, some whole book looks like it's from another universe and another century. And I go, so we're looking through it and I said, oh, those are the realizations I used to write. I photocopied them all because they were fading that I wrote between maybe 1971 and 74, 70.
Yeah, around that time. I don't remember when it ends.
Yeah. And we were reading some. And I was like, oh my God, I wrote this when I was like 21 years old. This is good stuff. I go, it's the same thing I write today. And I was like, why don't you like type it out, so we have it and we could share it with the disciples. So that's what she's talking about.
So that has been a real blessing. Thank you.
And you get to read 5 days when I was in jail in Tijuana, what that was like. Yeah. That's worth reading the book just for that. Why was he in jail? What did he do? Basically, I walked onto the street with a book bag and I was arrested, like within 30 seconds. Yeah.
Thank you for trusting that service. I pray for your good health and I hope I
So
can.
you're going to get fired or you're going to lose your job? Then you'll have more time for service. Should I pray for that?
If you so desire, I'll be happy.
If you ever lose your job, ask me if I was praying for you.
Thank you so much, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. That concludes the list of everybody who signed up to do an offering. Was anybody feeling especially inspired listening to all these wonderful shares who didn't sign up?
Haribol, I'm Gopi Jivanadas. Prabhu asked me to introduce myself. So it was also a more spontaneous one. I was just, thank you, first of all. I wanted to also say for taking on this austerity from the layman's perspective. It's such a nice thing to be honored in this way, but it's actually very austere to sit here all day and listen whatever one is saying, and it's actually for our benefit, as we know. So thank you for allowing us to do this. I was thinking of fourth that would help any listeners that might not know you so well to understand why people are trusting you, putting their faith in you, and why you guide them so nicely. So I just have four things I thought I could mention. One is that you are very non-envious. In this world, people mistakenly try to feel better about themselves and get some pleasure out of putting others down. But those who have spent time around you, we never experience that. You don't have any interest in pulling anyone else down or being envious towards anyone else. You only have good things to say about others, and you're always trying to uplift them. And that's because, as other disciples have said, you have a connection with Krishna and with the spiritual energy, and you're self-satisfied. You don't have to bring anyone else down to try and feel better about yourself. So non-enviousness is one of the main things that comes to my mind.
I just heard you the other day, this guy said, when you have personal issues and you want to heal them, and you're afraid to face them, then your healing process is to find fault with someone else. And that way you're healed because you just ignored the problem. And so I've realized that, which is my own healing is to appreciate others. That's part of it. Yeah.
So non-enviousness, the second one I thought of. You mentioned that you don't have as many disciples as maybe some of your God family. But with you, it's quality over quantity, as we've heard with many of the offerings. And you pour yourself into serving your disciples and well-wishers. And again, those who have spent time around you know that you're probably more busy than the CEO of some company, just waking up in the morning, correspondence and communications all day long. I think you told me once that it's like sometimes 4 or 5 hours just on WhatsApp responding to people. So that's
not sometimes.
And again, it's because you're genuinely connected with your disciples and with Krishna and with your service to your guru. So it's just so inspiring to see that level of self-sacrifice. And we're all very appreciative of how much you're doing for us. And of course, we almost never reciprocate or manage to reciprocate nicely, but still you're not doing it to get reciprocation. You're just selflessly pouring yourself into helping us. Now I might forget the other ones. Oh yes, the third one was that you're incredibly insightful, and we've also heard this today. So that our knowledge, you take our knowledge and our something that we have in the clouds with, we don't just live our head in the clouds with this theoretical knowledge, but you actually show us how to apply it. And you show us the dangers of trying to take spiritual knowledge out of context. You show us how oh, it is? So I stopped using it. What was I saying?
Out of context.
Yeah, you help us to understand that in order to properly apply the spiritual knowledge, we also have to look at psychology, physical health, relationships. This is not just something that's a theory. We have to place our feet firmly on the ground and live this knowledge and live this tradition. And therefore, the different things you teach us, they're incredibly insightful and wise. And finally, the fourth thing I wanted to mention is that you're blissful. And that's one of the main ways in which you inspire us and help us as disciples and followers by showing us that Krishna consciousness, it leads to what we are all looking for. It leads to blissfulness and happiness, and it engages the soul in its natural position. And it's just that blissfulness is so infectious. And whenever one spends time with you, even just for a little bit, it uplifts us and it inspires us. So these are the four things I wanted to mention. Thank you so much for everything you do for all of us. And may you have a long and healthy life.
not too long. I also want to go back to Gaza sooner than later.
And we have one more last minute addition. Nitai Gurunga Das would like to make a short offering as well.
Seen me,
I think the battery's loose or something.
and now it's okay. Okay, okay, good. Oh, so technical. Thank you.
It's a cheap Chinese mic. That's why.
So, I'm resident of Krishna's Gainesville, and I think my appreciation for you really like stems from the japa retreats that you have done there. I remember the first one you did there was in 2019, and I was just new to Krishna House. I was just starting to chant 16 rounds. So I was present in those like sessions, but I was not really able to appreciate it. But 2 years ago, you did one somewhere else in Florida, but all of Krishna House like went there. We participated. It was at the small retreat center. And that was especially memorable for me because I was going through a really like tough emotional like situation at that time. And I was really thinking maybe I don't want to be around a lot of people. So maybe I should not go to the japa retreat, although I have registered. But somehow I went there, and I feel like things that you said in that japa retreat like really like transformed my japa. Like I remember the first time, like the first day coming back from the retreat and chanting in the morning at Krishna House, I felt like I've really never chanted japa like before. Like this is, I'm just starting to chant japa. And we read like from your japa affirmations every morning, but like at least once a week. And those are like one of my favorite things in the morning because I get to really repeat every week. Like this is what what I want my japa to be like. And my favorite one of them is I get to chant, I want to chant, and I love to chant. Like I would never have said that, but just saying it makes me want to like do it. And although I have not been in a japa retreat in the last 2 years, you still like come through my Instagram sometimes and tell me a lot of good stuff. And recently what has been on my mind is you just said that good japa leads to better japa and bad japa leads to worse japa. And sometimes like when I'm really in a low phase, that's what keeps like comes in my head. And really, yeah, I owe a lot to you for like how much I appreciate japa and all the relationship advices that you share. And yeah, like because I feel like I'm really connected to Krishna through japa, and I owe a lot to you for my improvement in japa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also like I get to be around a lot of your disciples around. Thank you very much for giving us shelter. Hare Krishna.
I have it, my latest japa insight. Would you like to hear it? When you chant japa, you're of course chanting Krishna's name. But there's one minor detail you may forget while you're chanting japa. Krishna. Just saying. So when you chant japa, I know this is going to sound stupid, think of Krishna instead of everything else other than Krishna. That's my latest japa insight. What do you think? Sounds really funny, doesn't it, to say that? But it's true. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone who shared. I really appreciated hearing all of that. Even hearing about your connection with Mahatma Das has really helped me. I mean, just in this time, start to realize, the depths of my own and how much deeper I'd like to see it go. So thank you, everyone who shared. I kind of got reminded of, I'm an English teacher and I teach, figurative language and hyperbole. And I remember when I first started coming around devotees and I'd hear people talk about their gurus and I'd hear people say things like, my guru saved me, or, I would be completely lost without my guru. My spiritual life began the day that I met my guru. I heard all these things and I thought, wow, those are, really nice, flowery kind of statements, but, you just say those things to make a point. They're more illustrative than real. And then I met Mahatma Das, and all those things that I heard people say that I thought just were language, that they're so true. And you know, that, you know, the other one, like, you know, people would say, like, I can never repay my debt to my spiritual master. And I mean, even just in this short time, I don't know how I can ever give back what you've given to me. Thank you so much. I didn't expect to share or cry. So kind of keeping with the program, I mean, the next thing is give a talk. Following that, we would like to take some group photos, everyone here, and then a photo of disciples. And then if you would also then lead kirtan for us, we'd be so appreciative.
Should I use that microphone? I mean, whatever. Otherwise, I have to scream, right?
Your mic, though, it's coming through.
It's coming through? Yeah. Okay. Coming through to you, but not to the people on Zoom?
Yeah, but the problem is there's certain situations with the audio with this microphone that it has to be lower in for them, so that the reason they're not able to hear you.
What if,
We can use this microphone.
what's best? Krishna, Krishna, what? I'll sit. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shamini Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyabhari Puschatya Dasatarine. So I'm happy that you've all come here, some of you from as far as Canada, some of you as far as Gainesville, some of you as far as your bedroom and your computer. And as Gopi Jivana said, it's not easy to sit here and be glorified and honored. It's a little embarrassing, but it's nice that we can come together because we don't always have time to be together like this. And we've talked about coming here to do retreats, and every time we talk about it, it's always like the wrong time because this group of devotees isn't here and that other devotees out of the country. And so then we thought, let's do the Vyasa-Puja here because it's the right time for everybody. So when I was coming up here, for me, I was thinking I'm just coming up for a festival, kirtan, you know, be with devotees. And that's the beauty of Vyasa-Puja, although I have to be the center of it, at least for a while. But it's nice just to be here and talk about Krishna and our philosophy and churn the ocean of nectar. That's what we do. Churn the ocean of our realizations. So that's what we're doing here. At least that's what I'm doing here. And it's nice to be with all of you. We don't always get to be together. It's really awkward. I think if you actually calculated the time I spend with disciples, you know, the time, no, not the time that I spent, but the time that my disciples spent me, if you clocked it on the clock, you'd probably find that the ones who spend the most time with me are not in Alachua or Gainesville, because when I travel, people, I only come once a year, so people know. So they all take off from work and they're all there. So basically, they're just like the whole time. But in Alachua, it's like everybody's busy and got things to do, and it's hard for us to be together. So at least we're together today. That's better than usual, right? People think, I want to move to Alachua to be with you. And I say, you're with me more than the devotees in Alachua even though you live in Europe or somewhere. I was thinking this morning of an example maybe you've heard. You plug into an outlet and the current is running, and if you touch the current and get shocked because the wires are open, and you touch somebody else, they get the same current, right? You've done that before. So being a spiritual master, the requirement is you're plugged in. You're plugged in. And so when people touch you, they're getting the same current. It's not different. They're getting the same current that I'm getting from Prabhupada. You're getting. So that's what I see my duty as, to be plugged into Prabhupada. So I'm always trying to follow what he asked me to do, trying to understand what he's teaching in the broadest context possible, in the most practical way, and also the deepest way, and the most balanced way that I can, and then give that to you to nurture you in the best way I can, and encourage you to nurture others. And when I can nurture you and you take that nurturing and you nurture others, then the disciplic succession is perfected that way, because it continues, it will never end. So it doesn't, like some people say, well, the disciplic succession ended with Prabhupada in terms of the Diksha initiation succession, but it's not meant to be that way. The guru is meant to touch the disciple, and then the disciple is meant to continue plugged in to their guru, which means you're plugged into Prabhupada, and then you touch other people. And then they get the same current. And I mentioned this before. Some of you may have heard that when Prabhupada was on the planet and you went to a temple, there was so much current going through the devotees that meeting the devotees is almost like meeting Prabhupada. It was almost that same purification and inspiration that we personally got from Prabhupada, you would get from his disciples, because they were so fired up. Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada did this, Prabhupada this, Prabhupada that. It was, in a sense, you could say it was the same. Although it can never be the same, but it was. That current was so powerful. So that's the disciplic succession. And we may not officially be a spiritual master, but Prabhupada said we should all be spiritual masters in the sense of sharing and setting an example for others and trying to emulate the example that is set for us. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's how I see my service. And when you understand, the more you understand Krishna consciousness, that makes me very happy. The more you live it, that makes me even more happy, because that is more important and more difficult. And when you don't live it, it makes me not only unhappy, it's kind of frustrating. It's like you have a kid and you've told the kid 3,864 times to do this, and they don't do it. It's very frustrating, isn't it? Yeah. So, to me, understanding Krishna consciousness is practicing it. That's how I know you've understood it. You can recite it. It doesn't mean that you understood it. But when you live it, it means you've understood it. Like sometimes with the kid. I told you 3,876 times not to do it. I know, you did. Is that frustrating? Then why did you do it? And what do they say? Nothing. Because they can't say anything. So it's frustrating. But when the parent instructs the child to do something which is valuable for them, and they do it, the parent's very happy. So not just to understand intellectually, but to actually live it. That's the real challenge. And that's what makes any, not just me, it makes any spiritual master happy to see that the disciple has understood in the heart, and so therefore they're acting that way. And by their example, they can inspire others to act in a similar way. In the last japa retreat, number 3, if you attended, in the first two verses, we were talking about appreciation, because the first 2 verses of Shishastakam were about appreciation. And I just did a workshop recently in Cincinnati and Columbus on Shishastakam. I decided to do it on Shishastakam. And I was telling the devotees, I said, I can tell you 2 words that can revolutionize your japa, your chanting of the holy name. 2 words. You just have, you say Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda before you chant, and said, I think these 2 words, this is going to sound heretical, I think these 2 words are more powerful than the Panchatattva mantra before japa. Whoa. Do I have your attention? Okay, you don't have to replace the Panchatattva mantra, but not everyone even chants it before each round. If you chant it before each round, add these 2 words. Anyone can guess? Hint, hint. It relates to appreciation. Hint, hint, 2 words. Yeah, that's 3, but you got the first 2. You got the first 2 right. Thank you. Thank you. What? Thank you for what? Thank you for the holy name. Thank you for inspiring me that I'm still chanting. Thank you for being present with me. Thank you for coming in the form of your name. Thank you for not kicking me away. And then when you finish your rounds, you say thank you. But, and I believe from experience, this can transform your japa. If the thank you is connected with so many varieties of appreciation, it can transform your chanting. But then I thought, well, why stop there? Why not every morning when we wake up, say thank you? Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you, Krishna, for this opportunity to serve you. Why not when we go to sleep, we say, thank you for everything you've given me today. Thank you for the opportunity. And if we do this, it can change our life in huge ways. It could be huge. You might say, oh, I don't know, it sounds too easy. If the thank you is deeply connected to appreciation, what you're thanking, when you're saying thank you, it's not like someone says, I'm sorry, and then don't even mean it. But if your thank you is, you're going through into your mind everything you're appreciating, that thank you is totally transformation. And if you don't believe me, try it. And if it doesn't work, you don't have to do it. But it does work. And so I was in teaching those courses the last few weeks, I was forced to meditate on the power of appreciation. I'd already spoken about it a few weeks earlier, and now I'm speaking about it more. And I'm chanting in that mood. And then I told devotees something. I don't know if I told this in the original course. I said, you know, sometimes when you're chanting, and of course you know, you're chanting and you don't feel like chanting. You know, sometimes, I just heard this. This is so interesting. There is a Catholic nun who wrote a book on her challenges with chanting the rosary. Listen to this. She said, sometimes my mind is wandering and I can't control it. And it's so difficult to chant. And this is written hundreds of years ago. So they would chant for a certain amount of time and they had the hourglass. And she said, sometimes she becomes so frustrated. It was so difficult. She'd knock the hourglass so that the sand would go through faster so she could get it over with faster. Can you relate to that? So I was telling the devotees, during those times, the boredom, the difficulty, the I don't want to do it, the no taste, the cause of that is a lack of appreciation for the holy name. And therefore, the solution is just to invoke appreciation. And once you invoke appreciation, the boredom goes away, the tiredness goes, everything goes away. Isn't that amazing? So those two words, thank you, that can completely transform everything. Not just about japa, but about anything that we take for granted. Thank you. And we reflect on all the things we are thankful for. So Vyasa-Puja Day it's an interesting day, and it's interesting to look at it in light of appreciation, because as we know, it's very easy to take things for granted. That's just kind of the way life is, isn't it? You know, people always say, the most difficult people to be nice to are my family. I'm really nice to my boss, and I'm nice to the, guy I see at the store, 1 minute a week, about the people I'm closest to. We take them for granted. So that's the way life goes. We take things for granted. We chant every day. We do it every day. It's very easy to take it for granted, isn't it? It's just... So Vyasa-Puja is, you could say, is a day to reconnect with our spiritual master, because there's always a tendency to take things for granted. Of course, we don't really take our spiritual master for granted, but still, Vyasa-Puja is a day to appreciate more, to go in. And I was saying the other day, I was giving a class on this, and I was saying that when you sit down to write your Vyasa-Puja offering, what do you think? What comes to, you're starting to think, what do I write? Because it's just a blank screen. What do you think? You first start thinking, what do I appreciate about my spiritual master? And you start writing things down. And by doing that, you may realize that some of those things are things you do appreciate, but you don't always think about. So Vyasa-Puja is that day where you can increase that appreciation. And, my dear devotees, here's the hard part. And we were discussing in class or something that Shruti Prabhu said, or I heard a lecture, I can't distinguish now, I heard a talk by him yesterday. He said, Prabhupada was, I think you were saying, Prabhupada was practical. He wanted to see how many books did you publish, how many devotees, how many temples. So, Prabhupada appreciated the devotion, the dedication of his disciples, but he really wanted to see that translated practically. Oh, Gurudev, you're everything, I love you. How many rounds did you chant today? Well, haven't really started yet. What about yesterday? Well, I have a few from yesterday. What about the day before? You have a lot more from the day before. And so Prabhupada taught us that devotion manifests in practical action. Like they say, have you heard the saying, love is what love does? Have you ever heard that? That's another way of saying love is a verb. Love is an action verb. You know, you show your love by what you do. A lot of times people say, I love you, and you're thinking, doesn't seem like it because you don't show it, right? Like we distribute Bhagavad Gitas to Indians, and Indians say, when you show them the Bhagavad Gita, they say, yes, yes, I'm knowing all this. And I've never said this, but my sarcastic side would say, you don't seem like you know this. You don't look like you know this. You know, I got like 14 earrings and 28 tattoos and all the designer clothes. Oh, we know Bhagavad Gita. Doesn't look like it. So sometimes we say, I love you, but it doesn't look like it. So we want to take that devotion we feel, the appreciation, magnify it, especially today. Today's a good day to magnify it. And then take that and apply and think, how can I apply this practically in service to Guru and Krishna and to Prabhupada? That's the perfection. Otherwise, it almost becomes paradoxical. That we say one thing, but by our actions we do another. And we saw practically that Prabhupada was not just pleased with what you did, because some people are better at doing things. They can just get more done. But he was pleased also in who you were becoming. You know, like the parent likes to see the child grow up. Like sometimes my daughter's in India and people are there and say, oh, your daughter did this. Or your daughter gave me this advice. I go, really? He said, yeah, it was the best advice I ever got in my life. I'm like, okay. You know, you feel like, oh, I was able to contribute. I did something of value. So the spiritual master also wants to see not just what the disciple is doing, but what are they becoming? What are they understanding? What are they realizing? So both things. Let our appreciation manifest in helping us become more and serve better the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. And to me, like that's the beauty of Vyasa-Puja. We can reflect on our connection, but in terms of our service and terms of what we are channeling from the spiritual master in terms of our consciousness and action. Sometimes I've had disciples do or say things, and I'm completely puzzled. I said, how is it that with everything I've taught, they did that? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, I told you to go east, and you went west. How is that? It's very discouraging. But when you tell them to go west, and they go west, it's like, beautiful, beautiful. And then, as any parent would feel, the spiritual master feels that way. Proud, sometimes, you know, the feeling is we want to make our spiritual master proud of us. We want to do something. So he would say, I'm proud to have you as a disciple. That is what we want to try to get at Vyasa-Puja Day. I want to make my spiritual master proud. He's, you know, one thing that I've shared on Vyasa-Puja celebrations, which I think is important, and I'll share it again. Maybe not so easy, but Prabhupada said the first-class disciple knows what the spiritual master wants and does it without being asked. The second is asked and does it, and the third is asked and doesn't do it and forgets. What did he want me to do? So I've always felt that one of the greatest services I could do to Prabhupada and anyone could do to their spiritual master is you just look at what they're trying to do and just, I can see you're trying to do this. Why don't we do this? Why don't we start this? Why don't we, you just take it. I can, oh, Guru Maharaj, you're doing this. I can see the direction you're going. It would really be good if we could add to it. So you try to understand what your Guru is doing and how you can continue in that same mode, add to what he's doing, duplicate what he's doing, expand it like that. So these are things that we can think on Vyasa-Puja Day. And those are some thoughts in my mind. And what I always say on Vyasa-Puja Day, which is useless to say because nobody can understand it, neither accept it, but I'll say it anyway. You also have to become spiritual master. And I became a Diksha Guru. You can become Siksha Guru, teacher, and spiritual master. When we say you all become spiritual master, I mean you learn, but you become an example. That way you become spiritual master. And you are all gurus to someone who's younger than you. So any new people that come, by default, you become guru. So to become guru means be an example for them. Because when people come to Krishna consciousness, they just do what the older devotees do. Despite what you say in class, probably 90% of what they do is what we do, isn't it? You say something, you should control yourself. Don't eat a lot. Yeah, and then you go into prasadam room and each devotee has 5 plates. So what do? You eat 5 plates because that's what everyone else is doing, right? That's just the nature of culture and human psychology. So when you want to become guru, your example is the most important thing because you teach more by your example. And when we say everyone become guru, we mean everyone be an example of what you're learning from your guru, what you're learning from Prabhupada. And be a good example of it. Be an example of compassion, affection, integrity, all those good qualities. All the bad qualities, be an example that you don't have them, you don't manifest them, you don't exhibit them, and if you do have them, you control them. And we all have so many bad qualities, but we control them. And that's how we become guru. And then that's how we become linked and connected to our guru. So we'll always feel our guru's presence when we're acting like him, right? Because we're kind of channeling his mood, his ideas, his example, and so forth, then we're connected. And so that's what it means to become guru. So all of you should become guru. And if you think that's difficult to do, you're right. But it's good to do it as John F. Kennedy, when he wanted to go to the moon, he said, what did he say? We're not trying to go to the moon. We're not going to, because, yeah, we're not, yeah, it's not because it's easy, because it's hard, or something like it should be done. Is that also part of it, or just, yeah. So become guru, not because it's easy, but because it will be the best thing for your spiritual life, because it will force you to be Krishna conscious, because you can't do it. You can't do it properly if you're not. And this is what Prabhupada wanted. And I think also, it's not like you become guru. It's just you try to be a good devotee and you naturally set an example. You naturally teach and inspire. So you don't become guru. You get anointed. You are. It's like, how do you join the Millionaires Club? Hint, hint, become a millionaire. I'm trying to become part of the Millionaires Club. Well, how much money do you have? Nothing. No. Well, just do your business and, one day you'll be a millionaire and we'll send you a letter and you'll join the club. So it's like, I'm trying to be a guru. Well, maybe, but just become Krishna conscious and you become guru. That's what it means. And that's how this movement spreads. So these are some things that I would like you to think about today and appreciate and work on appreciation every day. And like I've often said, when you make a vow that you didn't make a vow once, you make it every day. Whatever vow you make every day when you wake up. Today, I'm chanting 60 rounds following 4 principles. That vow is made every day. So appreciation should be something that is made every day, not just on Vyasa-Puja. because if we just make it today, then it's like we forget tomorrow. Yeah, how was the festival? Yeah, it was great. Nice prasadam, nice kirtan, yeah, nice offerings, and then business as usual. We don't want that. So let it go deep, and we can all connect to our guru, and take that with us every day. Appreciate it, churn it, and you will see how much that will help you in your spiritual life, how much it will motivate you, how much it will keep you going, how much you want to do the wrong thing some days, and you think, I can't because I'll let my guru down. So sometimes people ask me, do you want to do this? Something like, you want to go see this, that, or eat this or that? And I say, yeah, if I wasn't a devotee. But I'm a devotee. I can't do that. I don't think Prabhupada would want me to do it. So we have all our likes, dislikes. We have our nature. And so many times we want to do something and it's really not what we should do. It's not good for us. It might even be harmful. And we think, I can't do that because my spiritual master will not be pleased. And we don't do it. So there's so much power in connecting with the guru, with that appreciation and affection. And it's so important, and it's the essence of our spiritual life. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. If this cake that you're offering fulfills all my dietary requirements, don't have high expectations of it. Just a warning. Yeah. Oh, but I can take ghee. I have to pour ghee on it. Anyway, all I can say is it probably looks better than it tastes. So just expectations can cause you to be let down. I hope I'm wrong. And this is not an offense to the person who baked the cake, because the ingredients that I can take are like, they don't lend themselves to the same, the butter, sugar, white flour, you can't like imitate that. You can get close though, right? Maybe. Yeah. Hare Krishna. I'm going to cut myself up. Put on hold. Wow. Can I eat the tulsi leaf before I cut it?
Yeah.
Who made the cake?
I'm a runner.
Oh, okay.
No. Happy birthday. Yeah, leave happy birthday.
I think I might be wrong in my assessment of the cake. You want me to keep cutting, or someone else will take over? Or?
For 20 minutes more because it's at 10. Yeah.
What's next? Okay, I'll cut half of it. Can I lead the kirtan?
If you want.
Itai, you play mridanga? Wow. It says Guru Maharaj on here, so some of you are gonna end up eating your Guru Maharaj. I think they once gave Prabhupada a cookie in the shape of a cow, and he wouldn't eat it. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Wow, that's- yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I have to do 3, I'll let you do it. Thirds. Thirds, right? It's not good. It's coming off. You better do it. I'm not good at it. You have a napkin? Hare Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. One of us is a little off. So we're gonna have to play in the key of E, right? Krishna. Hare Krishna. Or, yeah. I just heard the other day that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had a favorite song, favorite melody. Agnidev told this story. And he said, so he got to lead kirtan for Prabhupada. And he thought, well, I heard this is Prabhupada's favorite melody. And so he was at the airport, Prabhupada came in and he was walking behind Prabhupada and he started chanting this melody. And Prabhupada turned around and looked at him and gave this big smile. Another devotee said, did you see that smile Prabhupada gave? He said, of course I did. He was giving it. Yes, either the bad ones or bad. With the microphone. Krishna. or the batteries or something. That's something's bad. Krishna Chaitanya, it just goes off and on. Krishna Govinda. So this is the melody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Gauranga, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Nitalanda, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga Nityananda, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Nityananda. Boom. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. So we were informed this morning, for those of you who don't know, Kadasi is meant to be broken between 10:54 and 11:54, and it's now 10:54. So if you haven't broken your Kadasi, then you can come up and we'll give you some. Is this from Jagannath? From rice that's at least 300 years old. If you have false teeth, I don't recommend it. From Jagannath Puri. And this way you'll break your Kadasi. And if you've already broken your Kadasi, you can still, if you want to get some Jagannath Prasadam, you can still get it. It's not bad. You can, your false teeth can handle it. Thank you all for coming, those on Zoom. You're gonna get to see all the devotees. Hey, trapped in Edmonton. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, yes. Thank you all for coming. It's nice. I'm looking at you right now. That probably doesn't look like I'm looking at you. Right? It probably looks like I'm looking away from you, but it's nice to see you all. And if those who are not showing your lotus face, you can put your video on. You didn't know you had a lotus face, did you? You do. All devotees have lotus face. Thank you all for coming. Nice to see you. We'll see you soon somewhere around the world. And come to Alachua so you could not see me. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Today we have become Paka Brahmins and we're following the Ekadasi fast perfectly.